get everybody out here. So it's a chilly night, so I'll try and be brief tonight. There's no long speeches. I do have a few words to say, but a couple of our expected guests tonight are not going to be here because they're actually in session. Two legislators, Jay Barrows and new Senator Paul Feeney, are both in session tonight, so we won't be able to be here to join us. But they did send their regards, and they will be coming by at some point with their own recognition for the town itself. I did get one from Jay and also one from Governor Baker here today, so I'll read those off to you. So tonight, I'd like to, if I don't see him here just yet, but Father Mark Walk, Matt Westcott. Father Matt Westcott, is he here? Do we see him yet? Okay. All right, it's going to be shorter than you think it is. All right. Well, he was going to offer the blessing of the building. Maybe we'll do that afterwards. How's that, if he shows up? Okay. So, all right, so good evening, everyone. Nearly 16 years of debate and less than 15 months of construction. What do you think? All right. That's exactly how we felt when our reaction was when the final piece of construction was being put in place. This $7.4 million project was what was promised to this community, and that's what we have delivered. Construction of the new town hall began a little over 30 days after we received the approval of the funding from the special town meeting on February 23rd, 2016. And the employees moved into their new quarters the last week of June 2017, or a construction time frame of approximately 15 months. The overall site of this project was substantially completed about 2 weeks ago when the final landscaping was finished and the parking lot was striped. I just want to read to you a report that I want to thank Randy Scollins for providing me, because the history of this debate and this project has gone on for many, many years. This goes back until 1999 when a report was written by the space, was referred to as the report of the Space Needs Committee. This was written February 1st, 1999. And it says the town hall renovations are now expected to cost $1.46 million. Once again, it must be noted that no major improvements have been made to the building since it was occupied in 1961. That report was written by Tony LaChapelle, and I don't know if Tony is here tonight. Tony, we asked him, he's going to try and make it tonight. And Tony, are you here? Okay. Mike Coppola, God rest his soul, and Bill Caspara, who's here tonight. So Bill, there he is. All right. So Bill survived the longest in terms of this process. What has truly been a remarkable and important project for the taxpayers to remember is that this entire project was built and funded within the town's existing levy capacity. That's right, $6.8 million was borrowed over a span of 20 years, and because we are a AAA rated community, the rate that we borrowed it was 2.21%. I don't know if you can anybody can borrow money for that this cheap these days. Let me be clear, the town did not raise any additional tax money through a debt exclusion to pay for this project. In this day and age, that is truly an amazing accomplishment. I want to say to everyone here, give yourselves a hand for making that happen. As we all know, projects like this don't happen without a lot of people supporting the effort and by putting a lot of extra hours into making sure every detail has been managed. There are so many people we wish to thank here tonight. That list includes the Permanent Municipal and School Building Committee, otherwise known as the SBC, many of which who are here tonight. Please raise your hand if you're a part of that committee to be recognized. Thank you. However, even before that team was assembled, there was a more grassroots debate that was needed to be held so that the town could go forward with a unified building concept. In that regard, the Town Hall Working Group was formed. This group met over the course of several months to work through the major topics that included where the building would be located and whether we should renovate the existing town hall or build a new one. Most importantly, this group was very instrumental in right-sizing the building. These meetings were very interesting and educational for all who participated. We owe this group a huge debt of gratitude because it was these individuals who ultimately supported this building concept before town meeting. Would members of the working group please raise your hand to be recognized? The list goes on from here. I will bring Bill Euchner up, just the chairman of the SBC, in just a moment, that he can talk about the building and design process and the team that he has worked with to make this project become a reality. This was a great all-around effort from the designers to the project management team to the entire construction company and crew of the course that the oversight of the PMSBC. Collectively, you all did an outstanding job, and thank you all for your efforts. I would be remiss if I didn't thank the neighbors around the project for enduring the construction process. It was trying at times, but we think it was well worth the wait. I also want to thank the boards and committees who all supported this project, because without you, none of this happens. I want to thank our employees who worked through some trying times during the construction phase, but are truly grateful for the wonderful end product. Most of all, we want to thank the taxpayers for helping to support the construction of this incredible facility. We hope that we met your expectations. Going forward, and most importantly, we will commit to you today that we will take care of this building based on high standards of cleanliness, maintenance, and professionalism. As a town government, we owe that to you for entrusting us with this investment, and we will do everything we can to uphold our end of the bargain. This new facility represents all that is good about Foxborough, and is a proper and fitting representation of all the volunteer hours put in by so many individuals, both past and present, and who keep making this community run so well. The spirit of volunteerism is something that seems to be fading in some segments of today's population, but it remains alive and well here in Foxborough. In celebration of that hallmark quality of this community, we are starting a planning process for a small park or sitting area to be placed here in the grounds of the new town hall. The area will soon become an important and lasting tribute to those who have given so much of their time and talent to the ongoing success of Foxborough. Stay tuned for more information to be announced about that effort. At this time, I would like to move the agenda along so that we can get to the all-important ribbon-cutting ceremony. Dave Feldman, have you made it yet? He was working his way through. He was in the Pont Street a few minutes ago. I'll have him jump in a few minutes. Yes. Yes. So I'm going to do that just now. So at this point, before we actually do the cutting of the ribbon, I'd like to actually have the color guard present the colors. I want to thank the members of the Fire Department Color Guard team for presenting the colors tonight. Thank you, gentlemen. At this time, what I'd like to do is call up Bill Euchner, who is the chairman of the building committee, who can talk about all the details that went into the effort. And I can't say enough things about the work that Bill and his committee did for this project, along with all the hard work that he put in and all the members that worked alongside with him. I also want to thank Bill Caspara, who's our building commissioner, who did a tremendous job of making sure that everything stayed in line and followed the work that this committee did. So thank you to all of you. But Bill, if you could say a few words.
Thank you, Bill. I'll try to keep this brief, but I'd like to start by saying that the town, similar to what Bill said, is fortunate to have so many residents sit on boards and committees, volunteering their time and expertise on behalf of the citizens, and with a common goal of creating a better environment and work and living. This project is a great example of that community effort. In addition, I believe the wisdom of the town to have created a standing building committee with expertise in trades, facilities, maintenance, engineering, architecture, and business has been a significant dividend to the town's taxpayers. Over the past 15 years, the building committee has overseen the renovation and expansion of the Ahern Middle School, the new joint public safety building, renovated the high school, renovated and expanded the Boyden Library, and now built this new town hall. This represents nearly 500,000 square feet of operational facilities at a cost of just over $77 million. While this is a significant number, it pales in comparison to what we read in the paper on a daily basis for what other communities are spending on their projects and on even, in some cases, single buildings. I'd like to recognize the team and thank them for their hard work. The Vertex Company, represented by Steve Kirby as the owner project managers, Leonard Lads and Bartel Architects, represented by Drayton Fair as the principal and Michael Stickney as the project architect, and of course BC Construction, represented by Mike Cresta as principal. The site had many challenging issues, but BC Construction worked well with the team to maneuver through and past these obstacles. I think many of you know we ran into hazardous materials on the site. We ran into oil tanks. We ran into many things unknown that was never shown on a plan or documented. And as the project, as the building committee oversees the input from the staff of the town, also was a very supportive way of getting this building done and done on the way it should be. I would also like to thank a few other departments of the town and their assistance. The IT department, led by Aaron Heyer and his staff, that designed and oversaw the installation of all technology and security cameras. The facilities maintenance department, led by Tony Masali and his staff, which oversaw the maintenance and operation issues, which as well as other things will serve us well in the future, being able to maintain this building. The departments under Public Works and Roger Hill for their assistance on the site to improve the final project outcome, and the inspections department led by Bill Casbera for all the assistance in dealing with the access and other issues relating to the building itself. And of course, not to be forgotten, Cable Access for all of their hard work in designing and installing the new state-of-the-art recording studio in the Andrew A. Gala meeting room. Finally, but not least, I'd like to recognize the members of the building committee that have served for many years to help bring this building and others to fruition. Bill Cass, Merrill Cass, John Hardy, Gary Whitehouse, Steve Sloan, Mike O'Leary, Jack Shaler, and Don Triani. I'd also especially like to recognize Gary Whitehouse and his staff for the gracious donation that they made to the town clerk's office with the message boards just outside their office, just recently done. With any project of this magnitude, there are always conflicts and issues to be resolved, but I'm happy to say that I feel the results speak for themselves, and I hope you will all agree. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill. And I can tell you, I've worked in several communities in my lifetime, and I've never worked with a committee that's been as efficient, as well prepared, as well as and well understood about the process as this committee. So I'm truly grateful for all your work, Bill. Thank you. Thank you to the committee. So I'm glad to see, as Bill's giving his comments, that our chairman has arrived. He made it through the traffic, and it was, of course, the challenge of doing a meeting at 5 o'clock at night is that there's all kinds of traffic. I heard that Father Matt Westcott, unfortunately, was stuck in traffic as well. So at this time, I'd like to bring Dave forward to offer a few comments from the town. Dave?
Sorry I'm late, and just like Town Hall, better late than never, right? So, good evening, and welcome to the grand opening of our new Town Hall. This has been in the works for a very long time, but the day has finally arrived. There are a number of people, or groups of people, that played a major role in the process, and I'd like to recognize. First, fellow members of the Board of Selectmen, both past and present, for recognizing that something had to be done with the old town hall. Sometimes it's easier to say no than it is to say yes. Bill Keegan, thank you. You had the foresight to put together a town hall working group to review past proposals, including renovation and relocation, and make a recommendation based on facts, not emotion. To the 15 members of the town hall working group, this process started in the spring of 2014. The group was made up of residents that had backgrounds in architecture, engineering, development, as well as members of the town hall staff all had sizable input. We reviewed all options: renovation, relocation, size of building, space planning, and of course, costs. What you see today is a result of those meetings and discussions that were productive most of the time, heated some of the time, but always respectful. Bill Yukna and the Permanent Municipal Building Committee, a job well done. From the selection of LLB architects and CTA construction to bring this project to completion on time and on budget with space and site constraints, and while keeping the existing town hall fully operational, is truly remarkable. As a developer, there is nothing more satisfying than taking a 2D rendering and turning that into an actual building and have it look almost exactly like the picture. It's an awesome feeling of accomplishment. Town hall employees who have waited for this building for a very long time. You put up with the leaking roofs, leaking windows, and cramped spaces. You parked all over the center of town during construction. Must have been nice during the summer, but I'm sure it sucked in the winter. But you came to work every day and did your jobs to the best of your ability. So thank you. Finally, to the residents of Foxborough, this is your town hall, a building that we can all be proud of, where our municipal government does its business and serves the community. My hands are cold. A building that represents the town of Foxborough, the past, the present, and certainly into the future. Congratulations to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, I'd like to bring forward Bill Caspara and Deb Cochran. And I'd like to have the ribbon ceremony begin. If I could have Kara Griffin. Is here. All right. Kara, where are you? There you are. Okay, there we go. So we're going to bring the ribbon across the front here. No, it's not. There's your shot before we got it. We're gonna have as many people as we can get behind it as possible right now. So feel free to jump in behind the ribbon, please. Go ahead. Yeah. I'm gonna. No, go ahead. The reason I wanted Deb and Bill to be here is because Bill has overseen this project like it was his own house, and did a terrific job of every little detail, made sure it was done properly. And Deb is the oldest, not the oldest, but the longest running, not the longest running employee. Sorry about that, Deb. The longest running employee in the town that's working in town hall. So she's been here the longest and endured the longest. So thank you both for being here for that tonight. My thanks to Kara Griffin from the Tri-Town Chamber for helping us with that process tonight. So at this time, what I'd like to do is, we're going to actually raise the flag for the first time officially here at Town Hall. And before I do that, I actually want to have a brief moment of silence, because actually this site is really unique, because back in 1900, there was actually one of the original town halls was built on the same exact site. It actually burned to the ground, and 3 firefighters were killed that night that it happened. So I'm just going to just read a brief report from what happened that night. On June 4th, 1900, on this site, just 1 week after the world's largest straw works complex burned to the ground, a suspicious fire was discovered on the attic of Town Hall. Box 32 was struck, and volunteers from Foxborough Fire Department responded. Firefighters wanted to make an aggressive interior attack because the building not only housed the town offices, but also the classrooms for all grades of the Foxborough schools. As the firefighters made their way through the front door, the steeple with the town's largest bell collapsed without warning and came crashing down on the 4 unsuspecting firemen. Tragically, 3 of the firefighters were killed, and the remaining firefighter was seriously injured. 2 brothers, George Jocelyn, Arthur Jocelyn, and Joseph Watkins, lost their lives on that tragic day. Samuel Johnson was badly injured, but survived and lived the rest of his life with the scars of that awful fire. Let's observe a moment of silence to remember the fallen and the sacrifices they have made. Thank you. So at this time, we'd like to raise the flag. Gentlemen? And in tribute to our servicemen and women, we actually recently learned of the loss of one of our the former veteran service commissioners. Has died recently, and so as the flags have been lowered to half-staff. So we will raise the flag and then lower it to half-staff. Thank you, gentlemen. Could you just raise it, lower it to half-staff at this time, please? You can see that. Guess maybe not. Okay. There we go. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. So this concludes our celebration and ribbon-cutting ceremony this evening. We'd like at this time to invite everybody in from the cold, and we do have some refreshments for everyone who'd like to partake in those, and we also have many tours going on throughout the building this evening. The selectmen do have a selectmen's meeting at 7 o'clock, so y'all need to be gone by then. But thank you very much, and thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you.